Okay, perfect. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. We are here at Zoom 2 meeting room. I'm sending greetings from Montenegro, from Dragić and me too also. We are going to talk about festivals during Europe. This is a session titled How to Meet Your Idol at Film Festivals, and guests are Marcin, Klak, Jovan, Ristić, Miroslav, Lakobrija, he sent video recording, then Dragić Rabrenović, and also we have here Simona Hupov, Darius Hupov, and as I can see, Daniel Monoranu. I hope that he also hears us. And at the beginning of this session, I would like to say that Marcin Klak is a huge fan of this type of conventions and festivals, and that we are very happy to hear what is he going to say about all his huge experience. If you all agree, my idea is to ask all of you to present all of your work, to present festivals you organize, and after that maybe we can share ideas, comment our work. You can suggest some proposals, how can we improve our cooperation and so on. Because Jovan was the last one who included in this conversation, maybe he can now be the first who will talk about festival. So please present your festival. Maybe I can, because this is all recorded, and maybe for some archive to say that you are journalist, publicist, writer, and translator.
Yes.
But firstly, you are a lawyer, which is interesting.
Yes.
You are director and co-founder of the Serbian Fiction Film Festival, and very interesting, the first genre film festival in Serbia. And you are author of the book Alien 3 and Understated Nightmare and Lost Worlds of Serbian Fiction Film, as well as short stories in the collection Years in the Mist. So you have a lot of experience in this genre. You can maybe combine your work and your work for the first festival in Serbia. Please, Jovan.
Okay. Thank you very much. So my festival exists for 14 years. So Miroslav and I was then a director. I'm not director anymore. I'm a film selector. He's the director. We switched places. We founded in 2006. In 2006, and then it was part of Belcon, Belgrade Science Fiction Convention, but it grew up out of it. Belcon ceased to work in 2009, and we decided to continue independently, because we already had a name, and we are also a touring festival. We're always on tour because we present our work in the former Yugoslavia, basically. So we screen the movies in former Yugoslavian republics. So now we have this independent version of the festival, not the Belcon. Since the number 5, since the 5th edition, we're independent festival. And now we have 3 selections on every festival. We have domestic, domestic, and it's based on short movies, because we don't have like Montenegro and other former Yugoslav republics. We have small markets and small, let's say, small film industry, which cannot produce a lot of long feature movies. And if you don't have mainstream feature production, you cannot have a great genre for production. So we're very happy if we have one long feature movie in a year. So you cannot base a festival around it. So we're actually focused on short movie production. So every year there's 10 or maybe 20, sometimes 30 movies from Serbia. This year was pretty bad because of COVID pandemics, but we will have a festival anyway. We also have a former Yugoslav selection, and we have foreign movies selection, and we have an award called Oscar or Koskar, which is a spoof on Oscar. Oscar, like let's say it's like Scotland, like their second names. Hiri or Henry, or like it's Oscar. So it's basically an Oscar, but in a skeleton version. So that's one of the way how to greet your idol who comes as your guest. Present him with an award which look like an Oscar, but a weird Oscar. It's a perfect way to have someone to like you in the future, to recommend it you to someone else. So we have this award, and during the last 14 years we had some interesting guests. We didn't have so great names. We have once a pretty big name. It was Mick Garris. He's a friend of Stephen King, but he's also he's adapting his novels in TV series. So he made The Stand, the first TV series in 1994, which was a huge hit all over America. So he was a guest, and he's a very great Hollywood insider. So we had a lot of stories from him, from Hollywood productions, from Star Wars, from Poltergeist, from Conan the Barbarian. It was very interesting to have it on to have a Q&A session with him. So it was basically about the festival. If you want to hear about me, well, I have my law degree in when I finished my university, it happened that I entered journalism. So I stayed in journalism for 15 years. Then, because journalism in Serbia suffered a lot, then I went out and decided to become that law should be my profession. So now I'm work there in a consumer organization as I work with consumers. So this is my daytime job. Nighttime job, I'm a writer. Sometimes I have a short story collection. I wrote 20 stories, fantastic stories, not sci-fi. It's more fantastic or horror or fantasy. And in 2015, my friend Dragan Jovićević and Dragan Jovićević is also a journalist, and he's one of the directors on my. We wrote together.
Now we cannot hear you, Jovan. Maybe it's about internet connection. Maybe we can now.
Cinema, because these fantastic movies, they're never been categorized as such. And we decided to make a map about the movies, to categorize them. We started to follow them since silent era in 1920s, and till the 2015. But it's based on short movies, and there's some 30 or 40 movies from former Yugoslavia. No, it's more, but it's from former Yugoslavia and Serbia now present Serbia. So and that's it.
That's it for the.
And if you mentioned, Yes.
Yes, we will continue. We have also a video recording from your colleague Miroslav, but I must ask Darius, will Zoom Master play that video, or how
I will play the video.
should we
Just
look it now, maybe later, whenever?
I will try to speak someone and then
Okay,
I will
you
put
will
the
try.
video.
Okay. Should we now include Marcin Klak, because he is inside and also from the other side. He is the insider and a viewer also. Why are you so in love with all this fantasy SF?
Well,
Present-
why is a very difficult question. When I was thinking about me joining fandom, my first big love with, in fact, it was fantasy then, was Tolkien when I was in 5th grade. So I was like 12 or 13 years old, something like that. And my uncle gave me the Lord of the Rings.
and that was it.
Yeah, and that was it. And he said that probably you would like it. And oh, yes, I was amazed. And for many years, I was counting these as my first steps into the genre. But recently, I gave it a thought and I realized that even way before, I had the tendency to like the imaginary world. So I liked fairy tales, I liked legends. I was reading, as a really young child. I don't remember how old I was, but it was before Tolkien. I was reading the Greek mythology because it was like fascinating, great stories. I read a lot of fairy tales when I was a child, and I think that this was inside of me way before, but it was Tolkien who helped me realize this is the thing I really like. And then I was reading many works for many years, but it took me some time before I discovered a fandom. So let's say the society of other fans of similar things. I started with manga fandom, then I discovered the science fiction and fantasy fandom. And since the very first convention I visited in 2002, I felt that this is my place, those are my people, and somehow I stayed. So it's over 18 years now, and each year I'm visiting a lot of conventions. I usually, well, not usually, but for many years now, I'm doing over a dozen per year. My record was 19 during 1 year, which is quite extreme. But it's one of my favorite ways to spend my free time. And I think what is important to mention here that everything I will be talking about will be related to the fan conventions. So not really to commercial comic cons. I have been just to one comic con, which is, and this is different type of the event. I was mainly participating and organizing conventions that were made by fans for fans. And this is slightly different approach to making events. So this is what I will be covering.
Okay, thank you. I just want to mention that you have been to more than 200, as if that is correct, conventions. So you are a very huge lover. For how many years that happened?
As I said, I started in 2002.
From that
It
period
was
to now. Okay.
beginning of March.
Mhm.
And I visited my 200th convention last year.
Last year.
Yeah, in October. So.
And about organizations, you were talking about in Poland, how you function, your organization.
So Poland has have a quite strong field here, and depending on how you will define all the type of events, but there is, I would say, more than one per week in average convention in Poland, especially if you would count big LARPs that we also organize. So it's quite a lot of things to choose. They really vary in size from quite small events to the huge ones. The biggest one, PERCON, I think it was over 45,000 people last year, or over 50,000, something like that. So a really huge event. And of course, with such huge events, you don't have just, you know, the hardcore fans. You have also a lot of, let's say, people coming from, well, from the street, but, you know, just the citizens that are interested in this big cultural festival that takes place in your city, even if they are not necessarily a huge fans of science fiction and fantasy, but still it's quite a thriving community, I would say. We have some SF clubs that organize meetings, sometimes more often, sometimes less often. It depends on the club. So there is a lot of things that you can do. And we almost don't have commercial comic cons. There are some, but it's not the main area for fans in Poland.
Okay, thank you. We will have a next round of conversation, but now I would like to ask Darius, should we now watch that video, or
Yes.
we can now watch it, okay? It's Miroslav Lakobrija from Belgrade.
I'm Miroslav Lakobrija, makeup special effect artist and the co-founder of Serbian Fantastic Film Festival. I worked on more than 100 full and short-length movies. I'm a big fan of science fiction and horror movies, and I'm very happy that there is a convention like yours. Also, I like your country. I was in Romania a few years ago. I visited Transylvania, Dracula Castle. I'm very sad because I'm not in Romania with you, but I'm in working on some movie project. Have a great time on your convention. I hope that I will be with you next year. La rivedere.
I hope you heard the sound and see the video okay.
Yes, we want to say thank you to Miroslav. That was a very nice presentation of short but nice and interesting of his work. I would now like to ask Dragić to present his work and the festival in Montenegro, and please you can start.
Okay, thank you.
Please put headphones or something. Okay, now it's okay.
It's okay now.
Yes.
Hello to everyone, to our hosts in Romania. I hope next year we will be in Romania also together with all the team, and nice work here. I have a good opportunity to be the part of this festival, but I start with this. I was in Transylvania a few years ago in Cluj-Napoca. Nice city, nice historic place, nice culture, and I hope next year we will be with you in Temișoara and in the other city in Romania. Here in Montenegro, we have a festival about fantasy literature. We organize it with our partners from region, and the title is Regional Festival of Fantasy Literature, and the short is Refesticon. Like, we want to reunite the region, as Jovan say, former Yugoslavia. I hope we actually have success in that. After that, we want to reaffirmate our writers from Montenegro and also from region, famous writers. We have a lot of famous writers from Bielopolje, from Montenegro, for former Yugoslavian Republic. And also we want to reaffirmate and affirmate young people, young writers, to go and present his work in the other countries, in Serbia, Bosnia, Croatia, and the others. And for that we have a conquest for the short stories. It's every year we have different topics, and now we're going to organize eight festival here in Bielopolje. Every year festival we organize, as Darius and Simona know, in June, but this year, because of COVID situation, we're going to organize in December. I hope next year we can be our guest in Montenegro, all of you, and with some specific topic more similar to all the countries in Balkan region. Our festival have a lot of different programs. Beside the literature, we have artistic art, we have artistic exhibition, art exhibition. We have also a short movie. We present a short movie about short stories from Professor Zoran Živković from Belgrade, and also present in one of the year we present short movies from fantasy, myth and legend from radio television Budva from Montenegro. Also we have a lot of music program, a lot of programs for children, education and something like that. From the beginning, from 2 days, from 2030, now we have 10 days festival in Bielopolje, and a lot of guests from region. And in 2019, we have a guest from, as I say, Romania and Italy. And we have a special award for writers from for region, and for international awards we call it Golden Dragon, and for that period we have a 5 Golden Dragon award. That is the main because we have it international jury from the other countries, from the other festivals. And as if I can say now, our partners is from Zagreb, Sferakon, from Belgrade Art Anima Festival, from Pazin Festival of Fantasy Literature, from Split, from Zenica, from the other countries, from the other, maybe from Slovenia, Celje, and something like that. We have a lot of partners, and we have a, I can say, success regional story. Thank you for now.
Thank you, Dragić. And if you agree, we can hear maybe Darius. Would you like to say a few words about not only your festival, but festival in general?
Yes, I will be quite short because I want to begin the discussion about our theme today. So I'm involved with the science fiction and fantasy community since 35 years ago, and since 30 years ago, I am involved in organizing various local, regional, and national events of science fiction. In this field of science fiction and fantasy films, I organized since 2017 till last year the film section of the Romanian National Convention, Science Fiction Convention, RomCon. And since last year, I began the organizing process of this festival. I participated in fan events and professional events in Europe. fan events like Eurocon, which is a fan event, even if it's organized by a society, but it's a fan society. Professional events like the Bucharest Comic Con, and also Eurocons. I think 4 Eurocons and 1 Worldcon. And also I was the foreign liaison and at the Eurocon in Timișoara in 1994. So that's my resume. And sorry?
You said it very briefly, but you have very rich resume.
Thank you. I'm also a writer. I have a short story volume, but we passed it, and let's talk about this theme because it is very interesting from our point. And I'm happy that here are both festival and event organizers and one professional participant.
We have now problem if Zoom Master or Darius can do something. We don't. We can see you. But
festival in order to.
Darius.
Okay.
We have a little problem. We didn't hear you maybe for just a few seconds, but now we can hear you. Maybe it's.
And now you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I am trying to invite Marcin to tell from the fan or participant perspective what he is expecting a participant to have in order at a convention in order to get in touch with his idol, maybe a actor, writer, or director. So what he wants, what are the structure that enables a smooth connection with his idol?
Okay, so I will speak from my perspective, as you mentioned, from the participant. I'm also organizing conventions, but that's different story. One of the things that I really love and treasure in fandom is the fact that we are a community of friends. So especially in traditional science fiction fandom, we are all equal. And this means that when you have a star at a convention, this star quite often is the same fan as you. And this means that you can freely talk and enjoy your company and become friends. And this is something I really like. I have one story that I like to share. There is a Polish science fiction author, Marek S. Huberat. I think that his short story was translated into English. It's Juritun Snelg Aini. It's the name, the title sounds strange because it is supposed to be to sound like that. And his other work, it's The Nest of the Worlds, was also translated. It's a novel, and it was also translated into English. He's a great author. He doesn't publish a lot, but most of his works are really amazing. And he happens to be also a university teacher and in physics. And I was one of he was one of my teachers at uni. And when we met at convention, we didn't yet finish all of our lessons, but it was quite close to the end of our journey together. And I gave him a book to get it signed. And the autograph I got says something to Marcin, my former student and now a pal, Marek S. Huberat. And I really treasure it strongly because it reminds me of these, shift in perception of our relationship, and it's really, really cool. Of course, at university, we were still the teacher and the students. So when we were meeting at conventions, I was addressing him, hello, Marek. When we were meeting at university, I was saying, good morning, doctor. But that's obvious for, you need to separate those two worlds. But it was really a pleasure to meet him on this field. And when I was visiting other conventions over the years or organizing them, I met many authors with whom I was exchanging, just talking, sometimes having a panel with them, sometimes having just, the meeting with a single author. And I get acquainted with some of them. So with some of them, it was, just for this short period when we met at the convention, had a talk, and that was really cool. With some of them, I became friends, and we sometimes meet outside of conventions, or even if only at conventions. We are also friends on Facebook and talk from time to time. So this is something that the fandom allowed me to do. And sorry for this being too long. So for the main of your question of how this can be achieved, I think that the most important part that plays a role for the fanish events is that we are all fans and that we can simply talk, and that the authors are quite open to not only meet the fans, give the autographs and that's it, but they are willing to meet fans as a people and to enjoy the company, to find friends at such events. And I think that this is a very important part of it.
Okay, thank you, Marcin. I had the same question as Darius asked you, but I must say that we have only maybe up to 15 minutes up to the end of this session, but I have a lot of questions and topics because we are all in the same kind of organizing questions. I would like to ask all of you a few more things. One is about challenges to organize festival. I don't like to use the word problems. We all have problems when we are organizing. I would say instead of that, challenges. And the second part of the question is where and how to find solution for that challenges. And because the title of this session is how to meet your idol at film festival, I would like to ask how hard is to bring Jovan maybe previously said that he had some famous names at the festival, not so famous, but famous at some level. How hard is to bring to the small country such as Montenegro, such as Serbia, how to talk with all that famous people and to present them that we from the small countries, from the Europe, we are important at the same level as the people from USA. This is only not a question for the organizers, it's also for the Marcin to tell more of his experience lately. So Jovan, please, can you tell us your experience? Mm-hmm. Can you please just turn on your mic?
It's okay. I think it's working now.
Yes.
It's very good to have connection. It's not that complicated in the times of to reach your idols or someone who knows it. We have some people in America. I have a friend of mine lives in Canada. She's a director of Jovan Kavučković. She's she's working in Canada, and she also she knows many people from Hollywood. So we are it comes across here, and other people that we managed to contact other people. So we were basically in contact with many of them. It's the other problem if they're available at the moment or they have busy schedule for the year. So Miguelis was interested. He fell for Oscar award when he saw it. He said, "I have to have it." It was that. It was. And he famously asked his friend Stephen King what he knows about Serbia, and he told him, "Oh, they're vampires. They're beware." So it was something he told us at Q&A session. But he is a very nice guy. And the other problem is expenses. The expenses. I mean, if he's from the west side of from the west coast, the traveling is much expensive than from the east coast. And you know, movie stars and directors and actors, they come from the west side, so you will have to pay, well, 1,500 euros at best. So you have to watch for the expenses. It was a very, very big burden on us, but we decided to fight. And that was a very bad year financially. I don't know how we survived that year, but it was worth. It was worth all the way. So we were lucky because Miguelis is a nice guy who was not, you know, he decided. He told us, "Oh, I will travel. I will travel with economic class in the plane." He hadn't brought any pets or children or wife. He was alone. He was alone. So it was not that expensive. You have to, it's maybe, it's crazy maybe to talk about it, but this is a part of life for our organizer. This can be a nightmare for him, because there were some people who asking us to give him A+ hotel with 5 stars, maybe 6 stars. We cannot afford it, you know. So
Yes.
this is basically it.
Okay, I want to say a few, I think, important ideas related to this, how to bring an important guest to your convention or film festival, because this is the first part of the process for the fans to interact with a star.
Yes.
We are here from 3 conventions in the area. I have a very nice relation, and I'm very fond of Dragić and Andrijana. So we trust each other, and if they were to ask us to recommend, to talk to a guest of ours and recommend their festival, it will be okay. I hope that in the future we will begin a relation with Jovan and Miroslav, and trust each other in order to recommend both sides. What I want to say is, if we establish a network of friendship between our festival, we can lend each other our stars in order to help each other. For example, we managed to bring Miltos to our festival, Miltos Rabrenović, which is a great person and a great man as a personality. He is very kind and helpful. So I think if any one of you would like to invite him, it will be my pleasure to recommend you to him, and to make a bridge connection if you want to call him as a guest.
You.
So
Maybe
this is the thing I want to build here in the region. A trust between each other, and a way we can exchange our connection in order to advance our festivals and convention, if you agree.
We absolutely agree, Darius. Thank you. And maybe Dragić could share his experience titled with our theme, Idols at Film Festivals.
For the beginning, I want to say Darius is exactly right when he say we need to cooperate on the level, maybe we can call it Balkan Peninsula, because we start our festival with, as I say, countries from former Yugoslavia, but now we need some book for short stories from authors from Albania, Macedonia, and if I can call Darius to send us a short story, because we have a topic about Illyrian, ancient Illyrians, and I hope we can write and maybe cooperate about same topics, about topics from our history, from our common heritage, as we said. And that is the one reason why we, if I may say, why we must cooperate. But the other reason is that Darius say, maybe in that case we can, our expensive costs, we can do it for less, and we can exchange our programs. Maybe we can present programs like the short movies in Montenegro or in Serbia at Jovan Festival. For the other, we can present Jovan book in Montenegro and something like that. We can share our programs and also our guests. I think it's a great idea, Darius, and in next period we can do it like some Eurocon for the countries from Balkan region, BalkanCon maybe.
Ah, yes.
And as Darius know, we the first time we met at the Eurocon in France, and this Andrijana asked me about this impression. This is good for festivals to organize not only online but in physical type, because we can meet our friends, as Marcin say, we can meet our guys who think like us. We can meet organizers of the other festivals, and also maybe if we have a lucky, we can meet our idols. I meet a different type of writers from the countries in the region, writers from our countries, and also writers from international level, and it is nice opportunity for me, not only to organize, and also as a writer. And that is the nice opportunity to have festival, and to, if we have a chance, to go and meet our idols, as I can say it, idols. Thank you.
Thank you, Dragić.
Thank
We
you.
have only a few minutes. Marcin, as an organizer, please give your comment. How can we connect and improve organization of festivals and the idea of bringing the idols to them?
Yeah, so it is not something I was doing, but it's something I have heard of and that can be done. So especially when we are talking about guests from far away. So as you mentioned, that it's quite expensive for the flight even. Usually also the flight is very long, so those people may want to stay for a longer period of time than just one weekend. And this means that if we will find the organization in different countries that would also like to invite them, then the cost can be splitted between the two festivals or two conventions. Of course, if the star would agree. And the other thing is to look for another organization that has a reason to invite the guest. So this may be, for example, the publisher who may be willing to invite their author and move around the country, you know, to libraries or to bookshops to make some more meetings. But this may be also the embassy. So when we are talking about the US, I'm not sure how willing US is to invite Hollywood stars, the embassies. But if we are talking about even foreign European countries or maybe some Asian countries, the embassy may be interested in helping to sponsor, well, the flight or the hotel or whatever for the guests, because this is part of what the embassies are for, to show their culture to the country. So it's not impossible to have a support with these financial challenge. Probably, as I said, I was not doing it, so I'm not sure how easy it is. But this is one of the options that, well, few of the options that we have in front of us.
Simona is showing that we have only 2 minutes. I would like to ask Darius to conclude, please.
Thank you very much for a very nice session. I think we could talk on and on and on. What I want to say that Marcin said a very important things, that we must share the financial burden. So we must network together and organize a bringing of a very important guest and pass him from our conventions to another. This means that we must organize the conventions nearby in time. But I think this is a very interesting topic to discuss in the future. So I think, and I propose we keep in touch and exchange ideas and proposals. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you all. Wish you all the best. Bye.
See
Bye,
you.
bye.
Thank you
See
all.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.